Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yeah, that was. Okay, no edits. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm grateful that you are watching this. I want to share a. I, I've had a weird week. Maybe I'll talk about. Maybe I won't. But I've had a crazy week in that. Uh, I feel like a cliche that has been introduced to me a few different times through a few different sources or avenues. uh, it finally clicked for me. And I want to share two things from that. One, mental health is weird. And if you were in the middle of something where you're going, I don't feel very grateful and I'm struggling, and, oh, another video on gratitude, I want to let you know you are just fine as you are. That's a weird thing to say. And it's not because I'm saying that you're having the greatest time and that everything's great and that it's okay to not be okay. Essentially, is what I'm saying. And I remember watching many of these videos and these type of things where it's like, oh, one trick to be more grateful, and just thinking, yeah, well, it ain't for me because it's not happening. It's okay. um, the way we process things is definitely it's not just like a nice line up, right? It's like, and if you're still here, good, you're still here. You're winning in that regard. Keep going because your mind is doing interesting things, and it's working harder and better than you may think. So give yourself a break. Second thing, maybe two more things. And this deserves its own video, honestly. But I have been, and I'm saying it this way a bit tongue in cheek. But the more I say it, the more I'm like, I actually think this is kind of accurate for me. This is not a moralistic view for anyone else other than me. If it applies to you, fine. But I've been telling people this week that I have been what now it's the day after Thanksgiving, so now like 5 days sober from caffeine. I know that sounds dramatized, or overly so, and I don't know. I've done it a few times before. I didn't even have caffeine until I was 23 or something. And maybe that's a whole story. Let me know if you care to hear about any of these stories down in the comments. But I realized that the combination of Adderall and caffeine in my life, I just, I guess I got some thoughts in my head, right? Be they spiritual impressions or just kind of realizations. I'll take either one. Um, but I just realized that, like, I think caffeine, maybe even more so than Adderall, is really jacking me up. And since, being sober for 5 days, I I woke up this morning and I was like, I had a dream, and like, I don't even remember what it was about. I legit, like, it is inconsequential, right? At least I don't remember it now. It wasn't some vision or some epiphany, but I remember waking up and going, how stinking long has it been since I've remembered having a dream? Uh, I think, and this is something that Dr. K of Healthy Gamer GG, great channel, he talks about that, like, Adderall can be a thing, but also caffeine, right? He talks a lot about, like, if you're taking caffeine and taking it late in the day, you may sleep, but you may not have the deepest sleep, right? And you need to hit that REM cycle to process emotions and things like that. Um, so I just said, you know what? I'm gonna really try, like, for a number of reasons, right? I'm just going, well, maybe all these things that have built up in more recent years for my life, maybe this isn't the right thing, but trying to get off caffeine and really saying, I'm going to stop this thing. And I'm still taking Adderall. I took Adderall like Monday and Tuesday, and I took it today. Uh, that's still kind of an experiment, not a DIY experiment. I'm still working within the confines of doctored issue medication, etc. I'm not encouraging you to self-medicate and freewheel that. At least work with a doctor, right? If you don't trust big pharma or big medicine, like, fine, but find a doctor that you like and you could at least work with. I think that's just like, as an accountability buddy, a battle buddy, pharmacological mechanisms are weird. But it's also weird that we sell like caffeine and that I can take so much of it that I think I've just been like kind of, if you're looking at like the RPM meter, try to look at see if this makes sense. Maybe it's more like this, whatever. If you look at the RPM meter, I think I've been running like, you know, 10 points underneath like red line for a long time and just telling myself like that's just life. That's just adult life. Um, I don't know. It's been weird. Uh, the main thing that I want to talk to you about, the thing that made me want to kick off this video real quick, because I got things to do. Um, wow, and that sounds obnoxious. I'm so glad you're here with me, but I'm just thinking like I don't want to waste your time. You have things to do. But really quick, I saw this video by Ryan Holiday where he talked about the Stoic idea of the Stoics are grateful for everything.
While the Stoics would have agreed that all this was important, they practiced a slightly different form of gratitude, one that was more inclusive and a little bit counterintuitive. For them, it wasn't just about being grateful for the good, but for all of life. Convince yourself that everything is the gift of the gods, was how Marcus Aurelius put it, that things are good and always will be.
Can you be grateful for things that on first blush are like not particularly great? It coincided with another great YouTuber, Struthless, a guy out of Australia that I really like his content. I like his like I suppose irreverent attitude and style. It's probably less irreverent, more just he just is doing his thing. And I admire his being himself. But he too has had this idea of what if you treat everything that, especially the things that you're going, this sucks. What if you treat it as this is the best thing that's ever happened to me? And I remember hearing, I mean, I heard that a while ago on Struthless's channel, and it wasn't until this week with, and that's why I bring up the no caffeine thing. I think it just all kind of coincided to a point where I was like, what if this really is as simple as this? Now, simple doesn't mean easy, right? I am the president of the club of over intellectualizing things that really are very simple, because it feels better if you go, well, I struggled to be kind in that situation because it was complex and they were doing things, and I've got this childhood background, and all these things, and it's like, no, you made a mistake, you weren't kind, you feel bad about it, fix it, right? Oftentimes the teachings of the great people of history, right? Certainly, the many things of, the things I think I most familiar with, teachings of Jesus, very simple, right? Love your neighbor. Well, who's my neighbor? Anyone that happens to be around you, dingus. Stop trying to intellectualize it. There's no, like, where would I draw the lines? How do I gerrymander my, my brother and sister versus like just, a stranger? It's like, no. Just if they're around you, they're your neighbor. Do you treat them as yourself? Like, simple, not easy, right? So the idea of whatever has happened to you, and I can think of, I guess here's the trick. Here's the thing that kind of blew my mind thinking about this, is that at first glance, you will be tempted to think this is stupid, or this is cheesy, or this is too simple. But I found that like practicing, just saying the thing that I'm worried about, what is, and okay, so if you're like the best thing ever, right? Okay, if that's, the superlative nature of that, the best thing ever, if that bugs you, then what is a good thing about this? And I would say make it real, right? As in like something that could at least somewhat be right. Like, I mean, I don't know how you'd make it fake. Maybe that's a silly limitation put on it. But basically, just if something that you're looking at, and like, I am not grateful. I'm frustrated with my financial situation right now. I really have spent a long time over the past few years really worried about, I lost a job. I'm climbing out of the hole of financial stuff. I still have to ask family members to help with my finances. made some investments and stuff that have instead literally flooded, and I'm trying to fix stuff and not. It's a nightmare, right? And so then instead of going, well, but it is a nightmare. Well, it just is a thing, right? A flooded apartment. Uh, that just means you had water go where usually water is not wanted to go. Is that good or bad? Well, obviously there's some bad to it, but then here's the trick. You go, well, what's a positive? Well, a few things that have come to mind. I'm now able to empathize with people that have had similar situations. And I've had a time or two. And it's not like and I empathized and they gave me a job and now I'm a billion like it's nothing grind set oriented. It's just simply it's been cool to recognize that I've had some positive interactions because I could identify a little bit more intimately, a little bit more closely with some people that have had some crummy experiences. Same thing with, and I noticed this, I want to say it was 6 or 7 months ago, right? That like there was a person at church that I was talking to, and hey, how's it going? Well, and I felt like we were able to kind of like cut through that initial, superficial, like how's the weather, how's your sports team kind of stuff. When, I was like, yeah, well, I've been out of work for like 7 or 8 months at that point. And he's like, yeah, I've been out of work too. And again, uh, it was it was just nice to be able to commiserate with the guy, right? And that was even at the time. I remember just thinking like, this is special. This is like I have paid a price to be here that I don't like paying the price. Like the price sucks, but the price is already kind of paid, right? Um, so just wanted to, maybe it's cliche. I hope it's not because I'm not going for cliche, but I want you to just think about like in the term of gratitude, it could be so easy to, just like shut down your feelings and just say like, no, 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 I can't feel sadness and frustration. Like those things don't mean you're bad or ungrateful. It just means you're human. But being able to, as Ryan Holiday says, and he's quoting Marcus Aurelius, right? That like
Convince yourself that everything is the gift of the gods, was how Marcus Aurelius put it.
it's really about convincing yourself that everything is a gift from the gods. And so the idea of uh, convincing yourself takes practice, but that in is the trick.
The first key word there is everything. The other key word is convince, meaning you have to tell yourself that it's all good, even the so-called bad stuff.
Humans need to practice some form of creativity. And if you go, well, I'm not an artist or a musician, that's not even it, right? It can just simply be you got to use your imagination on something that maybe you never share with anyone. I'm not saying you go out and maybe you don't make YouTube videos about it. That's cool too. But being able to say, the way this dude at work treated me was really crummy, and that was really rough. Um, but now I know that the next time I run into people who treat me badly, like it's not as bad as that. That's kind of silly. Again, if your mind is anything like mine, it goes, well, but like very quickly it jumps to, well, that's not going to solve the problem. That's like, is that fake gratitude? It's like, no, no, I'm being creative. I'm I'm coming up with, even if they're trite or silly seeming, I'm coming up with other things to choose to look at the situation with other than the default story, which ends up being very, very self centered, very like narcissistic, and very, very in touch with our very uh, sometimes useful, but oftentimes miscalibrated sense of negativity bias, right? Because we got to look out for all the monsters and all the saber-toothed tigers in the shadows. Yeah, but that's run your cortisol levels, right? Your stress levels just, at that like 10% until red line level. Um, so I'm grateful you're here. I'm grateful we got to have a quick chat, get back to pies or to hiking or spending time with family or solitude, wherever you find yourself. Just try to practice this. I really found that it was like a cool yeah, I just found it was such a cool like trick, but one that I was like, holy cow, I've heard about this for a while, but trying to practice this just feels good. It just feels good. And yeah, you deserve to feel good too. We all deserve to feel that goodness, that satisfaction. So I love you and I appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a chance to practice this. Not because I get heaven points or kudos or whatever for it, but because you deserve a bit of that like inner peace that comes from this. So I'll I'll catch you soon. Thanks for tuning in.